workshop in 1972 in Bath, I started by making habitat-style furniture. For instance, these coffee tables, which people would bring their tiles. Sorry, I'm trying to focus. Is that about right on the left? I just simply made very ordinary utilitarian objects. People would bring their tiles along for coffee tables such as this, and I probably sold them for around about £60. If the Habitat version sold for £40, I was selling a little bit of individuality for £60. And I set up very much without capital. I had no, I couldn't get a loan from the bank or anything, and I had a radial arm saw that I bought for £50. And in a way, this basic tool influenced the designs. I mean, none of my work is what you call an artistic whim. It's designed within the discipline of material, technique, function, and economics, the limited resources that I had. So this radial arm saw, and I brought along a chair, as you can see here. I've made over 300 of these chairs to date. And its cantilever sort of bold form is achieved by cutting very massive halving joints, which was quite radical at the time. These weren't cabinet makers' joints. So I sold a few of these chairs with difficulty. Eventually managed to hire a shop on the main A4 road just outside Bath. It cost me £3 a week to hire this shop window. My God, those were the days. And all I did was put my telephone number on, and I call myself the Bath Carpenter, and I think the point I'd like to make here is that at that time I felt that good design should sell on its own merits, and therefore I had an anonymous name. My name is mispronounced in any case, so I thought design should sell on its own merits. And for a while during the 70s it did. I sold quite a lot of these chairs because people were forced to stop in traffic jams. The actual shop owner said to me, haven't you sold that bloody chair yet? And of course I had a demonstration item in the window and sold from it. So I made them in batches of 3 or 6. If I had an order of, say, 2, I'd make 6. You know, I'd speculate on the other 4, and I was confident that I would sell them, and I did. And I also sold from a gallery that led into the Royal Crescent in Bath, which is the most photographed crescent in Europe. So there was a ready stream of punters, if you like, passing the gallery, and they put one in the window, and it sold all over Britain and a few in the United States and other countries. After running a workshop for about 4 or 5 years, I managed to find the funds to invest in a small planar thicknesser. I also, around about that time, was introduced to the router, and I later on went to write a book called The Incredible Router. Here I'm doing a one-off, turning a 6-inch end-grain butt of Ubinga into a coffee table. I didn't realise at the time that the end grain of Ubinga was almost harder than the metal that the router bit was made of, and it was almost meltdown of the router cutter. I had to hire a stream of blokes to come and help me in 3-hour stints, sanding it down. So my work was one-off. It was small batches, and using, here again, quite limited tools. I soon learned that working in obscurity wasn't going to get me very far, so I started, well, I was lucky. I was invited by the furniture maker Alan Peters to participate in a major exhibition called Flavour of the 70s, and I was the unknown. All the others were very famous, and I produced work, several exhibition pieces, and this piece, we're now up to about 1980. Sotheby's held its very first auction of contemporary work. It was the first auction in Britain of contemporary British craft, and I had 2 weeks to design and build this. In fact, I made it out of available timber. I had a board of 2-inch thick ash, and I decided to design this drinks cabinet out of the ash and made it into thin veneers using that little 6-inch planer and a bandsaw which I had. And the point about this design is that it's got no handles, because I felt that often handles let down pieces of furniture, and they're the very thing that you make, you know, human contact with the material. So I thought, how can I dream up a cabinet that doesn't use handles? So I came up with this. It's sold at Sotheby's. It's sold to the Paul Getty art collection at Sutton Place. So I was quite pleased about that. And as I say, this is a potted history. This is more recently. In 1990, Kew Gardens offered 5 furniture makers timber from the Great Storm of 1987. And I chose an ash tree and had it sawn up in planks, and I made my Man and Nature table. Over a period of years, I was making very precise and technically very, very difficult work, and I decided, or as a matter of evolution, I began to relax a lot more and look more towards the tree and what the tree suggested. So this table, it's a coffee table, is made largely on the bandsaw, and it contrasts the smooth surface of the top with the rough surface of the tool, of the saw, of the edge. And the last piece on the left is a piece that's actually inspired by one of the pieces on show at the exhibition here at the Design Museum. In 1927, Marcel Breuer designed a chair. It's a tubular steel chair, very familiar in stores such as Habitat. Countless variations have been made. And I was inspired by this to try and make a cantilever chair out of wood. Obviously wood isn't such you know, a strong material. So there's some quite tricky geometry going on in that chair, but it is very strong. That basically shows a few examples of hundreds of designs I've made over the years.